and the ancestors are looking out for us. God Hayes is exposing them, man.
Okay, you see that chair right there? See how big it is?
Yeah.
Now look at the Pope chair under it. Scroll down, look at the Pope chair under
Never have it been made so clear.
Young TV. Young.
We running the game right now.
Young TV.
Time to take over.
Young
We the hottest in the game. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you just not tuned in.
TV.
Share, like on your Instagram, Facebook.
Young TV.
If you tuned in, we broadcasting live from 2030, baby.
Young TV. Young
Taking over the game, baby. Oh yeah.
Young TV.
Hit that like.
Young TV.
Get them likes up in the air, you heard me?
Young TV.
Ride by. Hotel Islam.
Young TV.
Assalamu alaikum. Flown lesson. Peace be
Young
unto you.
TV.
Hit that like.
Hey, Rabbi, peace and love. Hey, you know, recently, a lot of UFOs been shooting down missiles, and some even the government has been shooting down UFOs. So vice versa. We got some clips we're gonna show for you. We just give people time to get in. But yeah, people want to know why. Like I said, we just put out that tape. Well, we put out 2-3 tapes. But we're putting out tapes every day. We got some coming out tomorrow, the next day, every day. Some coming out every day, right? But we brought you here tonight for my extraterrestrial guys who say, "Oh yeah, well, why you ain't putting out no alien stuff, right?" So we got some alien, we got the alien stuff covered out now for you. We got to roll a couple of them. So many tapes bagged up, man. You know, I'm only one guy, so you know, try to get 1, 2, whatever I can get out every day. But recently, UFOs have been shooting down missiles. We're gonna show you a couple clips, right? So a lot of some incidents happen in Israel, some incidents in the United States, and the reason why this is happening is because the rules of engagement changed in 1945 when the kids found the matches. What do we mean by that? When they discovered uncovered the technology for the atomic bomb, that's kind of like the kids finding the matches. And then they dropped that bomb on Japan, right? And they almost cracked the earth, right? When they almost cracked the earth, this caused certain extraterrestrials who live here underground and live in Shambhala to come to the surface and say, "Hey, you can't do that because you could cause a star holocaust, right? You could cause the planet to go out of its natural orbit. It can cause a crack in the planet, cause it to tilt. It's a whole bunch of stuff that can happen from even the nuclear fallout from that thing from that atomic bomb, right? And then they thought they got smarter, so they created another type of bomb. Later on, they got the hydrogen bomb, right? But then they got another bomb that don't really give a nuclear fallout called a neutron bomb, right? And they make mention John, right? Johanna, right? The prophet in the Injil Revelations make reference to this style weapon being used. I think in 14, where he says that they didn't harm the grass, the vegetation. Right. so these neutron bombs don't harm vegetation, right? And so we're gonna get ready to run these clips for you, and then we're gonna go into what's happening here. Now, for the most part, the UFOs that's shooting down the missiles, they come from what we refer to as the mother plane. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, peace be unto him, wrote a book about it, right? And then he told he didn't tell the government. The government actually arrested the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I think it was like 1942, somewhere around that time frame, to question him about the mother plane, right? And for you new people that's new to the channel, we got a whole tape called the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's mother plane, right? And on that tape, we break down the wheel. Ezekiel, for you Bible guys, mentions of this same type of technology in Ezekiel, right? He even mentioned of the people who were piloting the ship, which is the four race. The people that control the ship is the four race alliance, but the people that's flying it are robot androids. You call them grays, and they are the ones that's flying these ships, right? But they 1945, the interference as far as certain style weapons that the Earth humans could utilize on each other, the extraterrestrials began stepping in. And so that's the main reason that a lot of these missiles are being shot down. Let me show you some clips right here. Right, check this out. We got some hot stuff for you. Now, if you pay, I can remember run it back again so people can see it again. But if you notice, they, I think it was Israel or somebody else that launched 2 missiles, and the UFO was already up there waiting on them to come, because these beings on the wheel possess technology that could know maybe hours before you're gonna do, when you're gonna make a decision to do something. They could jump time and know when you're gonna do it. So that UFO was already there waiting on them missiles to be launched so it could just shoot it down. And just think about how fast those joints flying and what type of technology it could just boom, boom, shoot them joints and fly off like that, right? We're gonna run that one back again, and we're gonna run another one. Now, on the mother plane, let me explain some. So what it was using was the sound technology to make the weapons, make those missiles explode. It used different forms to shut them down. Sometimes it used because it got laser weapons on these little baby planes, and then but it also got a sound weapon on these baby planes. It's technology it ain't out of this world, because it was put together by people of this world, right? That particular wheel, right? And what it is you know how when somebody scream real loud and then they make glass shatter, right? Well, this wheel has technology on it that can emit a frequency like that's strong enough to make walls explode, it can make a building explode. This with that sound frequency weapon, right, that it got on these baby planes, it can make a whole building collapse, right? And so that's what it was using. When you see that a group of them, probably like about 7 or 8 of them posted, and that's really overkill. Really, 7 or 8 of them is overkill, right? They got 1,500 of them on that mother plane, right? But you see about 7 of them out there, and what's happening is, like I say, that sound, they emitting that sound frequency to cause those missiles to explode. Let me show you another one.
Apparently, UFOs are getting shot down left and right. That's a missile which hits the UFO, and the UFO has burst into flames. If you look closely, you could kind of see the shape of the UFO, and if you close your eyes, you see absolutely nothing. So it's best to keep them.
All right, so what's happening there is you see the U.S. government shooting down a UFO. Now, what's happening is on the new ships that they got from Lockheed, they got infrared technology. They can pick up the UFOs now and track them. They still can't catch up with their speed. But why these certain ones are being shot down? A lot of them not from the mother plane, right? They from other species that don't know that the humans are more advanced, and they haven't been here in so many, because they coming from light years away. They hadn't been here in so long last time to do they research or whatever they was doing, and they come back. Now the humans got some kind of plane they can fly, right? They can track them, and they don't know, so they end up getting shot down, right? So that's why you seeing some of them might get shot there, and they do, and not only they can track them now, and can track them since probably like they might can track them since before Star Wars projects 1985. They really was tracking them in like the 1950s, right? Like after Roswell, like during Eisenhower and all that. That's when they started developing weapons to try to counter these guys, right? The wheel and all that. They knew about the wheel. Like I said, they arrested Honorable Elijah Muhammad in 1942, I think it was, and questioned him about the wheel, right? And he wrote a whole book about it. But like I say, the ones that's being shot down, a lot of them are other extraterrestrial races who come in here still, because Earth is like a data bank in the galaxy for different species. Like it's a lot of different species here. I'm talking about from plants, thousands of millions of different types of plants, all the way up to humans, animals, etc. It's different types of DNA here, and that they can use. And some people suffering in that galaxy from certain diseases that they come here, that the cure is found on Earth, and they can take it back to their galaxy. That's one of the reasons why one group of Zetos Reticuli Grays were here, right? They were here to try to find a cure for radiation syndrome that they had, right? EBE, I think it was J-Rod that was working at Los Alamos, and S4 underground was one of these beings that they were trying. The government they were trying to help the guy, but the government wanted to get technology from these guys, the Ramadian Greys, right? One group of them. It's like 70, 80 different kingdoms of Greys, though. But the ones that's drive the Ramadian Greys are the ones that's driving the wheel, the mother plane, right? And they the ones that they pretty much work for the Nubian extraterrestrials, the good Anunnakis who run the planet, right? And they live on and for the Danakil who are in charge of Shambhala, who are Nubian dark-skinned beings that pretty much run this. And you might say, well, why they ain't stepped in and helped us in this reality that we in, right? Because this is a school. You can't help you in a way. It will be cheating on the test. You're taking a test. Why would we help you to cheat? You know what I'm saying? It's like that type of thing. But like I say, certain people think certain dark governments, and other the reptilian hidden agendas and Luciferian agenda is trying to they launch their weapons, and so the will is in place to prevent these beings from completely destroying y'all, right? They will never be able to just completely destroy Earth. These guys, they got technology, right? And they got enough nuclear weapons to destroy Earth right now. They got enough nuclear weapons to destroy Earth 3-4 times over. And so, but the extraterrestrials, that will ain't gonna let them do it. Anytime they launch a weapon, the will shoot it down. Let's run another clip.
We were looking down south, southwest, and the missile popped up through the fog. It was just beautiful. And our guys on our M45 tracking mount with 180-inch lenses on it got it. And sure enough, we could see all three stages of powered gliders. They burned out and dropped away. And then, of course, to our naked eye, all we saw was a constant smoke trail going off into subspace. So we whoopied and shouted and heard the film wrap off in the BU telescope, and figured, well, that was our first big deal, and we got it. I walked into his office, and they had a screen and a 16-millimeter projector set up. There was a couch, and Major Management said,
I ain't gonna run that whole thing. I'm gonna run a clip with that dude talking in the background. When he talking, where you see his face. But there was one incident where that rocket was flying at 15,000 miles an hour. That rocket was flying at 15,000 miles an hour, and the UFO flew right in, hit it with a laser on both sides where the warhead was, and then darted off faster than the 1500. So it's going at 1500 miles an hour. It dances around the rocket and then take off. What type of technology is that, right? They saying. Well, those ships fly off of electricity and anti-gravity. And most of those ships are designed to fly on Earth. They can go out of space though, but they're not, those ships are not made to fly long distance. So most of them, so there's a base in the center of Earth in Shambhala where about maybe a couple thousand of those things are parked on this base. Right. And then the Greys that live got their bases all over on different continents. They got some too, right? Different people that it's like 2 or 3 races that live on Earth that got those saucer shaped ships, right? But they are mostly made to fly on Earth. They're not made to fly a long distance out of space. That's where the mothership come in at, right? So what they do is those little ships, usually if you see one that's not from Earth, it came off a bigger ship that's stationed out probably like by Saturn. They're one of these big ships to come in and park by Pluto or Saturn, and then the little ships will take off and come to Earth. And then when they get whatever they get, they'll go back to the mothership that's probably stationed outside of Saturn where you can't see it. But it's probably like a huge 200-mile, 300-mile mothership. So, you know what I'm saying, that these little bitty planes come off of, right? And but like I say, most of the ones you're seeing, probably 70% of the ones that got the real maneuvers, like the doom, 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 right? That no the centrifugal force, where it just turn anyway without making, those come from the center of Earth, some of them. Then some of them come from the Greys motherships who be coming from Zados. And then some of them is coming from the old Third Reich Project Paperclip when they took down Hitler, and they got certain technology which Hitler had got from Ashtar Command. A lot of people don't even talk about Ashtar Command, right? But that particular like I say, those ships, some of them come out, but the mother plane is half a mile by half a mile that stays up about 40 miles outside of Earth atmosphere, and it's really to protect the children of the Els, or the Elohims, the Netarus, from being destroyed by the devil. Elijah Muhammad already put it out. So I ain't saying that new. You know what I'm saying? Nation of Islam already got this information about the mother plane. And like I said, you can say it's crazy. You don't got think it's real, but the government sure think it's real. And they got NASA satellites, all kind of stuff. They all out of space with a space station. They think it's real. Neil Armstrong went up there and said that he saw it and took pictures of it, and he said that it had a humming sound coming from it, and it looked like a big, huge beehive. Right? We got a whole bunch of videos, all in clips and shorts in the UFO sighting files. We got a playlist called UFO Sightings. You can go watch all the UFO tapes we got in that playlist. Right? But let's run another one.
In charge of the communications center at 28th Air Division at Malmstrom Air Force Base, Montana. I was, again, the top secret control officer there. I dispatched all the nuclear launch authenticator to the SAC missile crews and whatnot, so I had a very good top secret background to, to go on. One night, or one day I should say, I happened to see a message that came through my communications center. There again, I cannot quote the date, where it came from, where it was going to, but I do recall reading it and saying that basically that a UFO was seen near missile silo numbers, I can't recall, but it was hovering there, and it said that the crew going on duty and the crew coming off duty all saw the UFO just hovering in midair. It was a metallic circular object, and from what I understand, the missiles were all shut down. Since that time, a couple years ago, a friend of mine, Bob Kaminsky, manager at Boeing, who has since passed away, in fact, he passed away last year. On the Art Bell show one night, a guy by the name of Bob Sullis called in, and he was talking about this incident, and I said, interesting. He was talking about these missiles being shut down, and then later on that night, Bob Kaminsky, who had retired from Boeing, he called into the Art Bell show, and he said, yes, I was the manager, or I was the engineer assigned by Boeing to come up and check out the missiles to make certain that they in fact had not gone down upon their own. And he said, I gave him a complete bill of health. And I worked for Bob in Boeing, and he was a good friend of his. Even before he passed away, we had many, many conversations on the subject, and he was just a very incredible man. What I mean by missiles going down, they were not in a launch, they were in the missile silos, and they were being, I don't know what SAC does as far as activating a missile is concerned, but it's basically on a standby mode, so it can be launched. But when they say it went down, it means that it went dead. And something turned those missiles off, and so they could not be put in a mode of launching. When I was a commander of a radar squadron up in Maine at Caswell Air Force Station, Maine, we were right next door to Loring Air Force Base, was where they launched the B-52s and the KC tankers and things like that.
I should have had that incident. I don't know if you remember that incident. It happened probably like in 2019. I think that's when they shot down the last rocket they tried to shoot out of space. Elon Musk, all his get shot down. But it was one time where these UFOs pulled over Kansas and all that, where they got all the missile silos at, and deactivated all their nukes in Russia, China, and in America, right? And that's what that guy is talking about, how the mother plane, the baby wheels, pulled over the base some kind of way and used some kind of technology to deactivate all their nuclear technology. That's why we're telling you that it really ain't gonna never really be no nuclear war, because unless they fight against these wheels, that's impossible, because they can unload 300 on each, 200 on each continent, maybe 100, and that'll do the trick, right? These guys, they pretty much, they've been piloting since they were young guys. These guys, these grades, that's all they've been training for, just to stop the devil from trying to destroy the children of God, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad put it, right? Check
Into
this.
the frame came something else. It flew into the frame like this, and it shot a beam of light at the warhead, which is represented by my thumb here. Now, remember, all this stuff is flying at several thousand miles an hour. So this thing fires a beam of light at the warhead, hits it, and then this thing flies up like this. Meanwhile, we're all going like this, fires another beam of light, goes around like this, we're going like this, fires another beam of light, goes down like this, fires another beam of light, and then flies out the way it came in. And the warhead tumbles out of space. Now, I saw that. I don't give a goddamn what anybody else says about it. I saw that on film. Phil Klass can kiss my ass. He wasn't there. I was. Now, when the lights came on, Major Mansman turned around and looked at me and said, "Were you guys screwing around up there?" And I said, "No, sir." And he said, "What was that?" And I said, "It looks to me like we got a UFO."
You could tell boy was serious, because they try when stuff like this happen, the government try to declassify it because they want what it is. They want to keep it from the public, but not just from the public. They want to keep it from other certain countries so they can be ahead because it's about weaponizing stuff, certain things. That's what their whole game is. The Lockheed, all of them, that it's about getting this technology, taking it to S4, and now they even moved it to other base. They got another base in California now, since the S4 base has been pretty much everybody know about it. So they've got another underground base in Utah and California where they are trying to reverse engineer these UFOs. Now, if you go back, you remember a man named Bob Lazar. Bob Lazar said there was 9 crafts parked at S4 in the hangars that they were working on reverse engineering. And right around this same time is when a lot of technology started coming out, like night vision and a whole bunch of technology that the military complex had got and passed on to like the Navy SEALs and Black Ops teams first before everybody else got them on the streets. Now you can order night vision on Amazon, but the military had it 40 years before the public got it. That's how this stuff worked, right? But that's like the dude just said, that rocket is flying at 15,000 miles an hour. Why, and boom, the UFO come in, shoot it 3-4 times with a laser and dart off. That's that technology is, they can't even deal with it. They don't got nothing. The fastest thing they had was the SR-71 Blackbird, right? As far as planes go, and we know about the TRB. That's pretty fast, but that's a dangerous craft, being that it's a nuclear powered craft, and they can get them to the moon in about 20-30 minutes. See, for you people, that the moon landing was faked, but at the same time, while they were faking the moon landing, they was already on the dark side of the moon with Hitler. Go get a book called A Dark Space Program. You can buy it on Amazon. I got the book. And Hitler was already working with Ashtar Command and the reptilians, the Third Reich. They was already in Antarctica. They was already on dark side of the moon. They was already having UFOs back then. Go look up Project High Jump with Admiral Byrd when he went down to Antarctica and got into it with Hitler and them, and Hitler and them pretty much pull out the UFOs and took them and ran them out. You know what I'm saying? Hitler and them ran them out. Only thing they had, only thing that Hitler and them hadn't had no laser weapons and all that, because Ashtar Command them wouldn't give them the laser weapons. So Hitler and them are just put anti-tank guns onto these UFOs. So they had a UFO that had the same type of technology as the anti-gravity, like a lesser, cheaper version of it with tank guns. So they come out with tank guns on Admiral Byrd and them, flying UFOs, moving like sideways, like it was hard for them to deal with stuff like that, right? So what America do? They infiltrated Hitler, got people in so they can buy them out, and the Rothschilds bought them out, man, moved them over to America. Patrick Paperclip. And what they did is they faked the moon landing. NASA's all cover up. NASA is straight. Keep in mind, NASA is a whole front is a front. What they showing you on NASA is cupcake. While they was telling you about Neil Armstrong on the moon, Neil Armstrong then was going through stargates at the Cheyenne complex in Colorado. They found a stargate in 1929 in Egypt, in the Giza Plateau. They made series about it to throw you off, talk about science fiction. Science means to know, fiction means you don't know. So it can't science fiction can't even go in the same category together. Right? But they made series and movies about this thing. And then what they did is it's set up in a museum from 1928, 29 to 1938 something. To the U.S. government found out, we got to get that from over there. So they got it from over there before Hitler can get his hands on it, right, from Egypt, and then put it on a ship, sell it back over here. And then what they did is they sunk the ship. They made like the ship got attacked and sunk, set it on fire, and made like the ship sunk so they can act like the artifacts got lost. And then they sent divers down there to get the Stargate, and then took it to the Cheyenne complex. Go look up the Cheyenne complex. They show you all this in the Stargate movie, and they got you thinking the Cheyenne complex. You can look it up. Cheyenne complex is the real base underground. Go look it up. Controlled by the Air Force. The Air Force in control of the Stargate, because they got another group, another branch that was created on top of the Air Force that's deal with outer space. And that whole NASA was a cover up. Why are you thinking about somebody shooting a bomb, a nuclear bomb riding a nuclear bomb to the moon? Because that's what it is. The rockets ain't nothing but nuclear bomb. They riding a nuclear bomb to the moon the whole time. They over at Lockheed against S4 working on anti-gravity. I'm telling you, man. And they already got the TR, that triangle craft. When you see the triangle craft with the 3 lights, that's a government craft. They also got UFOs, but not that many. Because the reason why they don't got that many is because of the element they need for the anti-gravity. They can't synthesize it. It's called Omicron, element 115. Go look it up, right? So they don't got but a little bit of it, a small amount, which they stole a couple pounds of it, and they was able to, it takes a certain amount of it, grams of it to run this reactor, this gravity reactor. Go look up a dude named Bob Lazar. That's his name, Bob Lazar. Yeah, element Omicron, by the King Tay 115, right? So they only got about maybe 20 less of these crafts, and then all the other ones that's wrecked up, all the parts and stuff that they didn't shot down. They got a whole bunch of parts and stuff, but half of that stuff they can't even figure out how it worked. They only figured out maybe 20% of the stuff that they recovered of how to reverse engineer it. This is all a zombie game. Hey man, that's what it seemed like. But for the most part, just like I said, we brought you on to talk about the missile being shot down. And like I say, they are being shot down due to the change in the rules of engagement, which pretty much was enacted in 1945 after they dropped the bomb on Japan, right? The 2 bombs that they dropped on Japan. And so from that point on, certain groups of extraterrestrials in Pacific, the Ramadi and Greys, step in to prevent them from being able to destroy Earth. Because they got bases, they got a whole bunch of different races got children here. I'm talking about from insects, feline beings and up, right, all the way up, even from single cell amoeba, right? We can get all the way down to that. The nomos are here. Everybody's here. See what you got to realize. Everybody's here. I'm talking about Earth. Everybody's here. The nomos, the reptilians. Right? You got desert reptilians, serpent reptilians. Those are the Syrians and the Naga species, like the cobras and all them. The felines are here. The bird races are here. Everybody's here. The trees are a race. They come from the Vega. And they living, they got life, they breathing. Trees breathe. I'm telling you. You all go hug a tree. I remember, shout out FaZe. I remember I was going through some stuff one time, and then FaZe said, you ought to go outside and hug a tree. You know what I'm saying? You ought to go outside and hug a tree. And I did that shit though, and it worked, man. Like I approached the tree with like I need help. And then I hugged the tree maybe about like 9 minutes of hugging that tree. People was looking, a lady was across the street looking at me like, this thing must be crazy, right? But it worked though. Hey, try that hug a tree. Go outside on a sunny day and hug a tree. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, man. So it's like, it's all these species here are extraterrestrial, right? Even the trees were brought here. This place is created or made. I can't say created because you create something from nothing. They didn't create this place from nothing. It already had it. It was already stuff here that the Anunnakis used to bring about this paradigm, this reality. This is Archangel. What happened to Archangel, man? Shout out the ancient ones. Shout out my baby kids. Yeah, but you're gonna see more missiles being shot down if they keep trying to launch anything, because the extraterrestrials already told them don't shoot nothing else. Don't shoot that little stuff no more. You remember that movie Harlem Nights, where Eddie Murphy was out there and hiding in the building, and they had, I think it was Arsenio Hall, and there was two other guys shooting at him because he thought he had killed his brother. And he told the other guy, he said, don't shoot that little gun no more, right? And but that little gun was a gun that was stopping Eddie Murphy from being able to come up, because every time they would stop shooting that automatic weapon, right, he would shoot that little pea shooter, pow, pow. That'll keep Eddie Murphy from coming up with his guns, right? But when he stopped shooting that little gun, they took the break. Eddie Murphy came up and killed all of them, right? So it's like, but like that's just a that's a scenario, but. Like I say, they can't shoot them guns no more. Them weapons. Extraterrestrials got stuff that'll take out your whole solar system with one blast. Certain groups, but it's against galactical law to lose those type of weapons unless it's admitted by the High Council. And the High Council have authorized to use those type weapons, especially on races like the Jinns. It was a race called the Jinns, who we used exterminated their whole galaxy, or their whole system, right? And wiped all of them out, and only a few survived. One of them, he survived because he was part Anunnaki. So he got brought amongst the Anunnaki, Halot. Right? Halot now, and his group. But that type of weapon was used a couple times on certain races to exterminate them. Especially the xenomorphs, the face huggers, the beings that came from Andromeda that jump on your face. The tall whites was going to bring them to Earth to try to overthrow Earth, so they can steal the gold and the mineral rights. But they got stopped by another group that they made a movie about called Predators. These 7-foot ant-looking beings who got a star base in they was coming here to do hunt prehistoric animals, the dinosaurs, and then they got banned from doing that. Then they got reassigned to so they wanted to hunt. People came out with the bright idea to put them on the mission to get rid of the xenomorphs and the tall bald whites. You got the tall whites, and then you got the tall bald whites. The tall whites are the ones that's working with the government in California and in Nevada and in New Mexico, Los Alamos, and on the top of the mountain right there in Albuquerque, New Mexico. It's a mountain that pretty much Albuquerque sits inside of a mountain. Right? If you ever go through Albuquerque, for my truck drivers that ever drove through Albuquerque, it sits inside of a mountain. You got to drive up in the mountain to get up in there and drive out of a mountain. It's actually the perfect spot to defend yourself from a nuclear blast. If America was to get hit by a nuclear blast, especially on another part of on the East Coast, Albuquerque would be one of the safest spots because it's high up in the mountains, and it's in the middle of the mountains, pretty much inside of the mountains. Albuquerque, I lived there for 6 months studying UFOs. On Interstate 25, man. Look, I had so much video of my. Look, somebody broke in my. Look this. This rigged. Somebody broke in my car, and I had a DVD player, some Jordans, a gun. They left all lit. They left all lit. They only took my laptop. They blusted the window out just to take my laptop. And I said, what? And the laptop was locked. So how you gonna do anything with it? So yeah, but I had a whole bunch of pictures on that laptop though that I was taking when I was in New Mexico. I got a picture of a UFO sitting right on top of the mountain, a big chrome. It looked like foil. It looked like a foil saucer. It was shining like foil. on top of the mountain. And then Julio said that ship is a tall white ship. They work with the government. That's what Julio told me. Right? He had an encounter with these tall whites at a park one time when he was trying to make whoopee with these girls, or with this one girl that he had met. He didn't have no place to take her. He didn't have no money for a hotel. So he took her to the park. And it's a park on the side of the mountains. And I guess it's a base somewhere close to there. Right? It's a base somewhere close to where that park. And Julio took the girl to that park. He had like a little Jeep. So he let the back seat down. He get in the back seat to make love to the girl. He started tapping it by, like, he said about 2-3 minutes into tapping it. He just felt like something was staring down the back of his neck. So he looked back, right? And he saw this tall, he described how he looked, right? Tall, white, creamy looking beings, had on a blue latex suit. And he said that this being, when he's seen the bean and he got scared, right? He said the bean jumped back real fast, like not just like a couple feet. The bean jumped back like a football, like 100 yards, like in less than a split second. The bean was able to move back, and the bean that bean got scared of him too. They were scared of him too. And then when he said he looked out the window, he said he saw about 3 of them standing like close to where that other one was standing there. Then he saw 2 little kids that were like 2 little tall whites that like their children that were with him. Man, Julio say he hauled ass from over there. He said he got out from over there, right? But I heard other stories that cooperate with how he described how they move, or how they can move real fast like that. And from my research on Julio's encounter, we found out that it was a base about 20 miles or so from where that park was, a secret base, right? And that's the base that the tall whites hang out at. And this dark space program that's working with these guys had a designated area that they told them not to go outside of 10 miles or whatever of in this area. But those particular ones that night, they went outside of the area that they told them, and that's where that park was. And that's how Julio ended up encountering them, right? And I heard other people talk about the tall whites. And for the most part, they really are neutral species. They don't really they're not really aggressive towards humans unless they feel you a threat. They're in you quick if they feel you a threat, especially if they feel you a threat to their children. They're in you real quick, right? No hesitation, and won't even cry. No, they don't got no emotions. Their emotions ain't like humans. That's why they were so interested in how Julio was back there hitting it and going, They was seeing like, what is he doing? Like, what is that? Like, what are they doing? Right? Because they are born in test tubes and stuff. They born in laboratories by the Greys. The Greys, they born through a cloning process because these Greys, that's how they do it. And the Greys are the ones that created the tall whites. The tall whites come from the 7-foot Greys have adopting humans and creating a new type of a hybrid race. That's the tall whites, right? And so that's these beings. And for the most part, like I say, they benevolent towards him. Well, they really neutral towards humans. They don't really got no beef with us unless they feel like because sometimes if you scared and they feel like you will harm them, and they recognize that they got like this little pin looking thing. They look like kind of like the thing that they had on Man in Black that they zap people to make them forget their memory. So they got that thing, right? A thing that look like that, and they could touch you with it, and it'll stun you, and it make you lose your short-term memory, right? And but they could turn it up to where it can go ahead kill it'll blush your heart. They could turn it up and zap you with it, and it's like getting an electric chair, right? These guys, yeah, tall, white, slender, baby powder looking skin, blue, gray eyes. They really hybrid grays, right? But they mostly be seen in those areas like Nevada, New Mexico, Mount Sasha, around Mount Sasha. It's actually a base down under Mount Sasha, advanced base, advanced Crystal City under Mount Sasha. And that place is ran by the old elders from the city of Mu. You know, it's advanced Nubians that live underground that don't associate with the surface culture, and they can come up to the surface and walk around and look amongst you. And they from the old elders. Then you got another group who also live underground, and they real live blood drinkers, vampires, and they the ones that run all the blood drives and all the blood places. Yeah, they only ain't that much plasma. You only that much plasma in the world. They collect millions of gallons a day. Where is that going? Who drinking all that? I'm telling you. Yeah, under Mount Sasha, Equator. You know about Mount Sasha? Yeah, look up the Terus. It's a community down there under Mount Sasha for advanced race that used to live on the city of Mu. What about that one? What about that magical wand? It's different types of wands now. You know, the judge, he got a wand. The police, he got a wand. A director of a music piece, he got a wand. A wizard, a warlock, witches got wands, which is all the same thing, really, when you draw it all out and pan it all. You get it all on the table and lay it all out and look at it side by side. It's all the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Tell it. Witch, warlock, minister, priest, it's all the same thing. It's just if you a priest, they say you a good guy. But if you don't want to get down with God and Allah, right, then you a bad guy and you a wizard and warlock and a charlatan. What about Fatima? What about Fatima? That's the he talking about Islam. But Muhammad is Islam. You know what I'm saying? It's a difference. Islam civics. We're gonna probably come on and do a class on Islam civics. Right? The mob right now, the mafia use Islam civics. Right? They family structure is so tight. And it's loyal, and their family structure is based on loyalty. They learned that from us, from the Moors. Yeah, shout out to NOI. I got a tape coming out on the FOI too. The boys at the FOI sharp, man. The boys know Kung Fu every day. They already ready for war. You hear me? It's about to get ready to kick off though. If you ready, I'm ready. We gonna get help. We take one step, they gonna take two. The devil will be removed. His time is up. The 6,000 years is up. Like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, the minute hand is on 6 and the hour hand is on 6. You can't go over the 7. Your day is done. And say God is after you when your time is up. You know what that means? When the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said God is after you when your time is up. Just think about all the animals that went extinct. Right? Because they probably was breathing some poisonous gas that was causing Earth to keep vibration to stay in the lower dimensions. The devil is keeping the Earth in the lower dimensions. And it's not just one devil, it's an energy. And it's a group. Luciferians. So Earth gets rid of the Earth magnetic frequency, getting rid of that frequency. It's a frequency that is getting rid of. It's a frequency. So that's what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, when your time is up, God is after you. So whatever it is that's causing the earth to stay in a lower vibration, God, the Mother Nature, the universe or energy is removing that energy. It's a cleanness. Big Mama cleaning house. It's a clean, right? Because the devil dirty. He a dirty guy. Cleanliness is next to godliness. So that energy is being clean right now. And the kicking and screaming as he go out is what you're witnessing. And pretty much he's done with the kicking and screaming part right now because he had time to kick and scream, and that time is up. He don't got no more time to even kick and scream no more. It's just time to kick rocks, right? Run that goal and kick rocks. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Run our goal, kick rocks. We don't want to talk. We don't want to do no negotiations with the devil no more. We don't want to do no more deals with the devil. We don't want to sign no more paperwork because you don't honor it anyway. We signed paperwork with him just for him to level us the next week. Take our village. We signed paperwork with him for peace just for him to take our village the next week and burn it to the ground. That's the devil. I'm telling you, man. So we ain't signing no more paperwork. We ain't got to prove to you nothing. We know what you ain't got to tell us because you ain't gonna tell us. That's in your nature. That's in the devil's nature to lie. The devil, he ain't gonna tell us the truth. So don't even count. Don't even bank on it. Don't bank on the devil ever telling you who you is. You got to go do that for yourself. Don't bank on it. If he was gonna do it, he would have been did it already. And sometimes he do tell you. He tell you in subtle ways because the best place to hide something is right in your face. So you may walk down and see a mound, and you looking at a mound, don't know. Oh yeah, your people build the mounds, the creeks, the moors, the Washita, the Shoshone people. That's the type of games this is the type of paradox we living in, where we got to figure out ourselves, figure out everything ourselves. And once you know, you can't unknow. You can't come to know something then unknow it, unless you turn into a vegetable. And that still don't mean you don't know it. You just can't articulate it no more, like you want to the public. I'm telling you, it's still in your brain. It's still in your consciousness forever. After that point, I'm telling you. And on that note, we about to rock out, man, with our socks out. You know what I'm saying? Yo, we're gonna be back. Peace, love, Wadu. Freedom Master Teacher, Dr. Malakazi. Never have it been made so clear.